Let's get ready for the New York real estate exam with 100 questions on state-specific laws, principles, practice, and more. And don't miss what's happening in the bottom corner. It'll be key to your prep. We'll tell you how in a minute. Now let's get started.
New York real estate law and practice. New York real estate licensing and regulation. Which entity is responsible for the regulation and licensing of real estate professionals in New York? Is it A, New York Department of Real Estate, B, New York State Division of Licensing Services, C, New York Real Estate Commission, or D, New York Real Estate Board? The answer is B, New York State Division of Licensing Services. The New York State Division of Licensing Services oversees the regulation and licensing of real estate professionals in New York, ensuring compliance with state laws. How often must a New York real estate salesperson renew their license? Is it A, every 1 year, B, every 2 years, C, every 3 years, or D, every 5 years? The answer is B, every 2 years. New York State requires real estate salespersons to renew their licenses every 2 years, accompanied by the completion of continuing education requirements.
Have you noticed the code in the bottom corner? Next time you're stumped, take that code to birdsey.ai for immediate help and a free study session with Birdsey, your personal AI study partner. Plus, you'll get access to hundreds of additional questions, helping you move closer to passing your exam with confidence. The next time you're feeling unsure or stuck, give it a try.
What is the minimum educational requirement for obtaining a real estate salesperson's license in New York? Is it A, 30 hours of pre-licensing education, B, 45 hours of pre-licensing education, C, 75 hours of pre-licensing education, or D, 90 hours of pre-licensing education? The answer is C, 75 hours of pre-licensing education. To obtain a real estate salesperson's license in New York, applicants must complete 75 hours of approved pre-licensing education and pass the licensing examination. Which of the following is a requirement for maintaining an associate broker license in New York? Is it A, complete 22.5 hours of continuing education every 2 years, B, pay a renewal fee of $200 every year, C, submit a new license application annually, or D, work under a licensed broker for at least 1 year? The answer is A, complete 22.5 hours of continuing education every 2 years. New York requires associate brokers to complete 22.5 hours of continuing education every 2 years, ensuring they stay updated with current practices and laws. What must a person with a criminal conviction demonstrate to obtain a New York real estate license? Is it A, full pardon from the governor, B, proof of rehabilitation and character references, C, completion of additional pre-licensing education, or D, at least 10 years since the conviction? The answer is B, proof of rehabilitation and character references. Individuals with a criminal conviction seeking a New York real estate license must demonstrate rehabilitation, often through character references, and meet all other licensure requirements. What is the primary purpose of the New York State real estate license law? Is it A, to ensure real estate agents earn a minimum income, B, to protect the public from dishonest or incompetent practitioners, C, to control the number of real estate transactions, or D, to promote housing development? The answer is B, to protect the public from dishonest or incompetent practitioners. The New York State real estate license law aims to protect the public by regulating and ensuring the competence and honesty of real estate practitioners. Which of the following is not a requirement to obtain a real estate broker's license in New York? Is it A, completion of a 75-hour pre-licensing course, B, passing the New York State broker's exam. C. Having at least 2 years of experience as a licensed salesperson. Or D. Submission of the broker's license application and fee. The answer is A. Completion of a 75-hour pre-licensing course. Completion of a 75-hour pre-licensing course is required for salesperson candidates, whereas broker candidates must complete a 120-hour course. Fair housing laws in New York. What is the primary purpose of the New York State human rights law in the context of housing? Is it A. To regulate landlord-tenant relationships? B. To protect tenants from unjust rent increases? C. To ensure fair housing by prohibiting discrimination? Or D. To regulate the real estate market? The answer is C. To ensure fair housing by prohibiting discrimination. The New York State human rights law's primary purpose in housing is to prohibit discrimination based on race, color, national origin, religion, sex, familial status, and other protected characteristics. Which of the following is not a protected class under New York's fair housing laws? Is it A. Race, B. Occupation, C. Sex, or D. Familial status? The answer is B. Occupation. Under New York's fair housing laws, protected classes include race, color, national origin, religion, sex, familial status, disability, and others, but not occupation. An individual feels they have been discriminated against by a real estate agent due to their disability. Which agency should they file a complaint with? Is it A. New York State Department of Financial Services, B. New York State Division of Human Rights, C. New York State Department of Transportation, or D. New York State Department of Environmental Conservation? The answer is B. New York State Division of Human Rights. The New York State Division of Human Rights handles complaints related to discrimination, including issues in housing due to disability. Which of the following actions is considered a discriminatory practice under New York fair housing laws? Is it A. Denying housing based on financial qualifications, B. Refusing to rent to someone because they have children, C. Setting occupancy limits based on the size of the property, or D. Charging additional rent for pets? The answer is B. Refusing to rent to someone because they have children. Under New York fair housing laws, refusing to rent to someone because they have children, familial status, is considered discriminatory and is prohibited. How long does a complainant have to file a discrimination complaint with the New York State Division of Human Rights in relation to housing? Is it A. 90 days, B. 1 year, C. 3 years, or D. 6 months? The answer is B. 1 year. A complainant must file a discrimination complaint regarding housing with the New York State Division of Human Rights within 1 year of the alleged discriminatory incident. What actions are real estate agents in New York prohibited from taking under the fair housing laws concerning familial status? Is it A. Refusing to rent to families with children, B. Offering higher rental rates to elderly tenants, C. Advertising properties in local newspapers, or D. Denying service animals? The answer is A. Refusing to rent to families with children. Under New York fair housing laws, real estate agents cannot refuse to rent to families with children as it constitutes discrimination based on familial status. NY State Human Rights Law, Section 296. Which agency is responsible for enforcing fair housing laws in New York State? Is it A. New York State Division of Human Rights, B. Department of Housing and Urban Development, C. New York City Department of Buildings, or D. Federal Trade Commission? The answer is A. New York State Division of Human Rights. The New York State Division of Human Rights is the primary authority responsible for investigating and enforcing fair housing laws within the state NY Executive Law, Article 15.
If you're finding this helpful, please take a minute to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more practice exams, useful tips, and complimentary study sessions with Birdsey.
Real estate contracts in New York. Which of the following elements is not necessary for a valid real estate contract in New York? Is it A, offer and acceptance, B, consideration, C, written form, or D, competent parties? The answer is C, written form. While it is always advisable to have a written contract, some oral agreements can be enforceable in certain real estate transactions in New York. Therefore, a written form is not always mandatory. What is the standard time frame given for a buyer to conduct property inspections in a New York real estate contract, unless otherwise negotiated? Is it A, 7 days, B, 10 days, C, 14 days, or D, 30 days? The answer is B, 10 days. The default time frame for conducting property inspections in a New York real estate contract is typically 10 days unless the parties negotiate otherwise, allowing adequate time without unduly delaying the process. In New York, which clause in a real estate contract specifies the date by which all conditions for closing must be met? Is it A, time of essence, B, contingency clause, C, closing date clause, or D, escape clause? The answer is C, closing date clause. The closing date clause in New York real estate contracts explicitly dictates the date by which all conditions necessary for closing must be met, ensuring a clear timeline. What is the purpose of the attorney review clause in real estate contracts in New York? Is it A, to allow modification of the contract terms by either party unilaterally, B, to provide a designated period to cancel the contract after attorney review, C, to confirm that no attorney was involved in drafting the contract, or D, to outline exclusive financing options recommended by attorneys? The answer is B, to provide a designated period to cancel the contract after attorney review. The attorney review clause provides a period during which the buyer's and seller's attorneys can review and possibly cancel the contract without penalty, ensuring both parties' legal interests are protected. Who typically holds the earnest money deposit in a New York real estate transaction until closing? Is it A, the buyer, B, the seller, C, the seller's attorney or an escrow agent, or D, a real estate broker? The answer is C, the seller's attorney or an escrow agent. In New York, the earnest money deposit is typically held by the seller's attorney or an escrow agent until closing, ensuring neutrality and security for both parties involved in the transaction. In New York real estate contracts, what is the primary purpose of an addendum? Is it A, to transfer property ownership, B, to modify or add specific terms to the original contract, C, to terminate the contract, or D, to verify the buyer's financial ability? The answer is B, to modify or add specific terms to the original contract. An addendum is a supplement to the original contract used to modify, clarify, or add specific terms without changing the entire agreement. This ensures both parties agree on the adjustments. In New York, what type of contract is used to indicate serious buyer intent before a full sale contract is signed? Is it A, contingency contract, B, offer to purchase, C, binder, or D, escrow agreement? The answer is C, binder. A binder in New York real estate transactions is a preliminary agreement that indicates serious buyer intent. It outlines the basic terms and conditions before the full sales contract is prepared. Which of the following must be included in a New York real estate contract to comply with the statute of frauds? Is it A, a verbal agreement, B, the property's estimated value, C. Written and signed agreement. Or D. A notarized document. The answer is C. Written and signed agreement. To comply with the statute of frauds in New York, real estate contracts must be in writing and signed by all parties involved. This ensures clear terms and reduces the potential for disputes. Disclosures required by New York law. Which of the following disclosures is specifically required by New York law when selling a property built before 1978? Is it A. Lead paint disclosure, B. Radon gas disclosure, C. Flood zone disclosure, or D. Mold disclosure? The answer is A. Lead paint disclosure. For properties built before 1978, sellers must provide a lead paint disclosure under both federal law and New York state law to inform potential buyers about the risks of lead-based paint hazards. What is the purpose of the Property Condition Disclosure Statement, PCDS, required by New York law? Is it A. To disclose structural issues with the property, B. To provide information about the neighborhood crime rate, C. To list all recent repairs made to the property, or D. To disclose the presence of pets on the property? The answer is A. To disclose structural issues with the property. The Property Condition Disclosure Statement, PCDS, is a mandatory form in New York that requires sellers to disclose known defects, including structural issues, to inform potential buyers about the property's condition. When must the Property Condition Disclosure Statement, PCDS, be provided to a buyer in New York? Is it A. Before entering into a contract of sale, B. At the closing table, C. After the home inspection, or D. Only if requested by the buyer? The answer is A. Before entering into a contract of sale. In New York, the Property Condition Disclosure Statement, PCDS, must be provided to the buyer before they sign the contract of sale to ensure they are aware of all known defects and conditions of the property. What are the consequences for a seller in New York who fails to provide a Property Condition Disclosure Statement, PCDS? Is it A. They must credit the buyer $500 at closing, B. The sale contract is automatically void, C. They must provide double the amount of the property's defects, or D. No action is taken against the seller? The answer is A. They must credit the buyer $500 at closing. Under New York law, if a seller fails to provide a Property Condition Disclosure Statement, PCDS, they must credit the buyer $500 at closing as a penalty. Is a seller required to disclose if a property is in a homeowners association in New York? Is it A. Yes, it must be disclosed, B. No, it's not necessary, C. Only if the HOA fees exceed $500 annually, or D. Only if the buyer specifically asks? The answer is A. Yes, it must be disclosed. In New York, sellers must disclose the presence of a homeowners association, including any fees and regulations, as this information is crucial for potential buyers when considering the purchase. Which of the following statements must a seller include in a Property Condition Disclosure Statement, PCDS, under New York law? Is it A. The presence of any hazardous materials like lead or asbestos, B. The property's market value, C. The number of previous owners, or D. The amount of property taxes paid in the last 5 years? The answer is A. The presence of any hazardous materials like lead or asbestos. New York law mandates that sellers must disclose any known hazardous materials in the Property Condition Disclosure Statement. This ensures buyers are aware of potential health risks. What is the primary reason for the requirement of the Property Condition Disclosure Statement, PCDS, in New York? Is it A. To negotiate the property's price, B. To provide transparency and protect buyers from unknown defects, C. To comply with federal regulations, or D. To assess property taxes? The answer is B. to provide transparency and protect buyers from unknown defects. The Property Condition Disclosure Statement, PCDS, in New York primarily aims to provide transparency and protect buyers by informing them of any known defects in the property. When are sellers exempt from providing a Property Condition Disclosure Statement, PCDS, in New York? Is it A, when selling a commercial property, B, when the buyer requests no disclosures, C, when the property is newly constructed, or D, when selling a property for less than $100,000? The answer is A, when selling a commercial property. Sellers are exempt from the Property Condition Disclosure Statement, PCDS, requirement when selling commercial properties. The mandate specifically pertains to residential real estate transactions. Transfer of title in New York. What is the purpose of a quitclaim deed in New York real estate transactions? Is it A, to transfer property with a warranty of the title, B, to clear up title issues and transfer any ownership interest, C, to initiate foreclosure proceedings, or D, to transfer property to a government agency? The answer is B, to clear up title issues and transfer any ownership interest. A quitclaim deed is often used to clear up title issues by transferring any ownership interest in the property without providing any warranties about the title. Which form of deed is commonly used to transfer residential property in New York, guaranteeing a clear title? Is it A, quitclaim deed, B, bargain and sale deed, C, warranty deed, or D, special warranty deed? The answer is C, warranty deed. In New York, a warranty deed is commonly used to transfer residential property and guarantees that the grantor holds a clear title without any undisclosed encumbrances. What is the role of a title insurance policy in a real estate transaction in New York? Is it A, to serve as proof of ownership, B, to provide legal representation for both parties, C, to protect against financial loss from title defects, or D, to guarantee property tax payments? The answer is C, to protect against financial loss from title defects. A title insurance policy in New York protects the buyer from financial loss resulting from defects in the title that were not discovered during the title search. Who usually pays the transfer tax in a New York real estate transaction? Is it A, the buyer, B, the seller, C, the real estate agent, or D, split equally between buyer and seller? The answer is B, the seller. In New York, it is customary for the seller to pay the transfer tax when transferring property. The tax is calculated based on the sale price or assessed value. What is the main difference between a general warranty deed and a special warranty deed in New York? Is it A, a general warranty deed provides warranties for only the time the grantor owned the property, B, a special warranty deed guarantees a clear title for the entire history of the property, C, a general warranty deed provides full warranties against any title defects, or D, there is no difference? The answer is C, a general warranty deed provides full warranties against any title defects. A general warranty deed provides full warranties against any title defects, covering the entire history of the property, while a special warranty deed covers only the period during which the grantor owned the property. What is the statute of limitations for bringing a claim against a defective deed in New York? Is it A, 3 years, B, 6 years, C, 10 years, or D, 12 years? The answer is B, 6 years. In New York, the statute of limitations for bringing a claim against a defective deed is 6 years after the issue is discovered or should have been discovered. Which of the following is typically used to correct a minor error in a recorded deed in New York? Is it A, a correction deed, B, a warranty deed, C, a quitclaim deed, or D, a retracit deed? The answer is A, a correction deed. A correction deed is filed to correct an error, such as a misspelled name, in a previously recorded deed, ensuring the public record is accurate.
Notice the code in the corner? When you're stumped by a question, enter it at birdsey.ai for immediate help. Enjoy complimentary study sessions and access to hundreds of additional questions to help you pass your exam with confidence.
Earnest money and escrow in New York. What is the primary purpose of earnest money in a real estate transaction in New York? Is it A, to cover the cost of property inspections, B, to demonstrate the buyer's serious intent to purchase the property, C, to pay the seller's closing costs, or D, to provide funds for moving expenses? The answer is B, to demonstrate the buyer's serious intent to purchase the property. Earnest money is a deposit made to demonstrate the buyer's serious intent to purchase the property, ensuring that both parties are committed to the transaction. Who typically holds the earnest money in escrow during a New York real estate transaction? Is it A, the buyer's attorney, B, a licensed real estate broker or attorney, C, the seller's attorney, or D, the title insurance company? The answer is B, a licensed real estate broker or attorney. In New York, earnest money is generally held in escrow by a licensed real estate broker or attorney to ensure neutrality and compliance with legal standards. What must happen to the earnest money if the transaction fails to close because of unmet contingencies? Is it A, it automatically goes to the seller, B, it is forfeited to the state, C, it is refunded to the buyer, or D, it remains in escrow indefinitely? The answer is C, it is refunded to the buyer. If the transaction fails due to unmet contingencies, such as financing or inspections, the earnest money is typically refunded to the buyer. Which New York law mandates the procedures for handling escrow funds in real estate transactions? Is it A, New York General Business Law, B, New York State Real Property Law, C, New York Commercial Code, or D, New York Housing Stability and Tenant Protection Act? The answer is B, New York State Real Property Law. The New York State Real Property Law provides specific mandates for the handling and disbursement of escrow funds in real estate transactions. What must an escrow agent do if there is a dispute between the buyer and seller regarding the release of earnest money? Is it A, release the funds to the seller pending court approval, B, hold the funds until both parties provide mutual agreement or court judgment, C, release the funds to the buyer as default, or D, disperse the funds equally between buyer and seller? The answer is B, hold the funds until both parties provide mutual agreement or court judgment. In a dispute, the escrow agent must retain the funds in escrow until both parties agree on the disbursement or a court issues a ruling. What is required for the initial disbursement of earnest money to the escrow account in New York? Is it A, a verbal agreement between buyer and seller, B, a written agreement signed by both parties, C, approval from the real estate agent, or D, an email confirmation from the buyer? The answer is B, a written agreement signed by both parties. Earnest money in New York requires a written agreement signed by both the buyer and the seller detailing the terms and conditions for the deposit and disbursement. What must an escrow agent in New York do upon receiving earnest money? Is it A, deposit the money into a personal account, B, deposit it into a designated escrow account, C, hold the money in cash until further instructions, or D, immediately transfer it to the seller? The answer is B, deposit it into a designated escrow account. New York law mandates that an escrow agent must deposit earnest money into a designated escrow account to ensure it is properly managed until the conclusion of the transaction. New York real estate taxes. What is a primary characteristic of an ad valorem tax? Is it A, it is based on the market value of the property? B, it is a flat tax that is the same for all properties? C, it is only applied to commercial properties? Or D, it is a tax on income generated from the property? The answer is A, it is based on the market value of the property. An ad valorem tax, typically property tax, is based on the assessed value of the property. In New York, local governments levy these taxes. Which entity is responsible for determining property assessments in New York State? Is it A, the New York State Department of Taxation and Finance? B, local assessors? C, the Real Estate Board of New York? Or D, Federal Housing Administration? The answer is B, local assessors. In New York State, property assessments are performed by local assessors or assessment offices within each municipality. These assessments determine the taxable value of properties. What is the purpose of the STAR School Tax Relief Program in New York? Is it A, to exempt seniors from paying property taxes? B, to provide tax rebates for low-income renters? C, to reduce school district property taxes for eligible homeowners? Or D, to fund new construction in underdeveloped areas? The answer is C, to reduce school district property taxes for eligible homeowners. The STAR program, School Tax Relief, in New York, provides property tax relief to eligible homeowners by reducing the amount they pay for school district taxes. What is a tax lien in the context of New York property taxes? Is it A, a public record that a taxpayer owes property taxes? B, a penalty fee for late tax payments? C, the process of reassessing the property value? Or D, an exemption for property taxes? The answer is A, a public record that a taxpayer owes property taxes. A tax lien is a claim issued by a government authority on a property due to unpaid property taxes. This lien remains until the owed taxes are paid. Which type of property ownership in New York is exempt from property taxes? Is it A, properties owned by religious institutions? B, properties owned by non-residents? C, commercial properties under $500,000? Or D, all residential properties? The answer is A, properties owned by religious institutions. In New York, properties owned by religious institutions are commonly exempt from property taxes as part of the state's exemptions for nonprofit, charitable, and religious organizations. How often are real property assessments required to be updated in New York? Is it A, annually? B, every 3 years? C, every 5 years? Or D, there is no state-mandated reassessment period? The answer is D, there is no state-mandated reassessment period. New York State allows local governments to determine their own reassessment cycles. Some municipalities reassess annually, while others do not have a set schedule. Which type of property is generally eligible for the enhanced STAR exemption in New York? Is it A, commercial properties? B, second homes? C, primary residences of senior citizens? Or D, vacant land? The answer is C, primary residences of senior citizens. The enhanced STAR exemption in New York is specifically designed for primary residences owned by senior citizens who meet certain age and income criteria. New York real estate finance. Loan fundamentals. Which type of mortgage allows the borrower to secure a loan against the equity built up in their home? Is it A, adjustable rate mortgage? B, reverse mortgage? C, fixed rate mortgage? Or D, interest-only mortgage? The answer is B, reverse mortgage. Reverse mortgages are typically available to older homeowners and allow them to use their home's equity to obtain monthly cash payments or a line of credit. What is the primary purpose of the Truth in Lending Act, TILA? Is it A, to regulate the use of credit scores, B, to ensure fair treatment in the loan application process, C, to promote the informed use of consumer credit, or D, to set interest rate limits on mortgages? The answer is C, to promote the informed use of consumer credit. The Truth in Lending Act, TILA, requires lenders to disclose important terms and costs of loans in a clear and understandable manner, promoting transparency and protecting consumers from misleading practices. What is a conforming loan? Is it A, a loan that exceeds the maximum loan amount set by the Federal Housing Finance Agency, B, a loan that meets the funding criteria of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, C, a loan that is guaranteed by the Department of Veterans Affairs, or D, a loan with a fixed interest rate? The answer is B, a loan that meets the funding criteria of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Conforming loans comply with the underwriting guidelines and loan limits set by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which typically makes them eligible for purchase by these agencies. Which entity primarily regulates New York's real estate finance market? Is it A, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, B, New York State Department of Financial Services, NYSDFS, C, Federal Housing Finance Agency, or D, Federal Reserve? The answer is B, New York State Department of Financial Services, NYS. The New York State Department of Financial Services, NYSDFS, supervises and regulates New York's financial services industry, including real estate finance, ensuring safety and soundness within the market. What is the main function of a promissory note in a real estate loan transaction? Is it A, it secures the loan with the property as collateral, B, it outlines the terms of the loan and the borrower's promise to repay, C, it transfers ownership of the property to the lender, or D, it provides the borrower with an equity line of credit? The answer is B, it outlines the terms of the loan and the borrower's promise to repay. A promissory note in real estate finance is a written document that outlines the terms of the loan agreement, including the borrower's promise to repay the loan amount with interest. What is an acceleration clause in a mortgage agreement? Is it A, a provision allowing the lender to demand full repayment if certain conditions are met, B, a clause that fixes the interest rate for the loan term, C, a requirement for the borrower to periodically update income documentation, or D, a clause that enables the borrower to pay off the loan early without a penalty? The answer is A, a provision allowing the lender to demand full repayment if certain conditions are met. An acceleration clause allows lenders to demand full repayment of the outstanding balance if the borrower defaults or violates specific loan terms. Which of the following loans is often backed by the Federal Housing Administration, FHA? Is it A, conventional loans, B, Federal Housing Administration, FHA loans, C, jumbo loans, or D, Veterans Affairs, VA loans? The answer is B, Federal Housing Administration, FHA loans. FHA loans are designed to help low to moderate income borrowers purchase homes by insuring the loan, reducing lender risk. Loan types. Which type of loan is insured by the Federal Housing Administration, FHA? Is it A, conventional loan, B, Federal Housing Administration, FHA loan, C, Veterans Affairs, VA loan, or D, subprime loan? The answer is B, Federal Housing Administration, FHA loan. FHA loans are specifically designed to make homeownership more accessible for borrowers with lower credit scores and smaller down payments by insuring the loan through the Federal Housing Administration. Which of the following is a benefit of a VA loan? Is it A, no down payment required. B, insured by a private mortgage insurance company. C, restricted to high-income borrowers. Or D, requires a large down payment. The answer is A, no down payment required. VA loans are guaranteed by the Department of Veterans Affairs and offer several benefits, including no down payment and no requirement for private mortgage insurance, making homeownership more accessible for eligible individuals. What distinguishes a conventional loan from FHA and VA loans? Is it A, they are guaranteed by the federal government? B, they require private mortgage insurance regardless of the down payment? C, they are not backed by any government entity? Or D, they are exclusively for first-time homebuyers? The answer is C, they are not backed by any government entity. A conventional loan is a type of mortgage that is not insured or guaranteed by the federal government, setting it apart from FHA and VA loans, which have federal backing. What is the primary benefit of an FHA loan? Is it A, higher interest rates? B, more relaxed credit requirements? C, only available for investment properties? Or D, guaranteed by the Department of Veterans Affairs? The answer is B, more relaxed credit requirements. The primary benefit of an FHA loan is its accessibility, with more relaxed credit score and down payment requirements compared to conventional loans, making homeownership more attainable for a wider range of borrowers. Which loan type is specifically designed to assist veterans, service members, and certain military spouses? Is it A, a conventional loan? B, Federal Housing Administration FHA loan? C, Veterans Affairs VA loan? Or D, jumbo loan? The answer is C, Veterans Affairs VA loan. VA loans are a unique offering designed to assist veterans, active duty service members, and certain military spouses with benefits tailored to their specific needs, including no down payment and no private mortgage insurance. Which type of loan typically requires private mortgage insurance, PMI, if the down payment is less than 20%? Is it A, Federal Housing Administration, FHA loan? B, Veterans Affairs, VA loan? C, conventional loan? Or D, United States Department of Agriculture, USDA loan? The answer is C, conventional loan. Conventional loans generally require private mortgage insurance, PMI, if the borrower puts down less than 20%. PMI protects the lender if the borrower defaults. Which of the following loans is offered by a department of the U.S. federal government and specifically designed to improve rural housing? Is it A, conventional loan? B, United States Department of Agriculture, USDA loan? C, Federal Housing Administration, FHA loan? Or D, Veterans Affairs, VA loan? The answer is B, United States Department of Agriculture, USDA loan. United States Department of Agriculture, USDA loan. Loans are offered by the United States Department of Agriculture to promote homeownership in rural areas. They provide benefits like no down payment and competitive interest rates.
Don't forget to comment below with your tips, challenges, and thoughts on exam preparation. Your experiences can make a big difference for others.
Loan qualifications. What is the typical minimum credit score required to qualify for a conventional mortgage loan in New York? Is it A, 500, B, 620, C, 700, or D, 750? The answer is B, 620. Most lenders require a minimum credit score of 620 for conventional mortgage loans, as it reflects a lower risk to lenders. Which type of income is least likely to be considered stable and continuous for loan qualification purposes? Is it A, salary from a full-time job? B, seasonal income? C, long-term disability income? Or D, Social Security income? The answer is B, seasonal income. Seasonal income is viewed as less stable because it fluctuates and is not received consistently throughout the year. What percentage of a borrower's gross monthly income should ideally be spent on housing costs for loan qualification? Is it A, 20%, B, 28%, C, 36%, or D, 50%? The answer is B, 28%. A commonly accepted guideline is that housing costs should not exceed 28% of a borrower's gross monthly income to ensure affordability and lower financial risk. Which government-backed loan program is known for having more flexible qualification requirements, especially for first-time homebuyers? Is it A, conventional loan, B, Federal Housing Administration FHA loan, C, jumbo loan, or D, Veterans Affairs VA loan? The answer is B, Federal Housing Administration FHA loan. The FHA loan program is designed to assist first-time homebuyers and those with lower credit scores, offering more relaxed qualification criteria compared to conventional loans. What is a key factor considered in the loan-to-value LTV ratio used by lenders in New York to assess loan qualification? Is it A, property location, B, credit score, C, appraised value of the property, or D, debt-to-income ratio? The answer is C, appraised value of the property. The loan-to-value LTV ratio is calculated by dividing the loan amount by the appraised value of the property, indicating the lending risk for the lender. What is debt-to-income DTI ratio, and why is it important for loan qualification in New York? Is it A, ratio of monthly household debts to gross monthly income, B, ratio of a borrower's liquid assets to monthly income, C, ratio of a borrower's property value to monthly household expenses, or D, percentage of a borrower's net worth used as down payment? The answer is A, ratio of monthly household debts to gross monthly income. The debt-to-income ratio is crucial as it calculates the percentage of a borrower's gross income spent on debt obligations, helping lenders assess affordability. Which factor is primarily considered by lenders in New York to evaluate a borrower's employment stability? Is it A, length of employment in current job, B, number of job applications submitted, C, number of times the borrower has changed industry, or D, the amount of hours worked weekly? The answer is A, length of employment in current job. Lenders look at the length of employment in the current job as it shows commitment and job stability, an important indicator of the borrower's ability to repay. The loan application process. Which of the following best describes the purpose of the Uniform Residential Loan Application, URLA? Is it A, to gather preliminary information about a borrower's employment history, B, to determine the borrower's transaction preferences, C, to standardize loan application information and ensure accurate data for underwriting, or D, to legally bind the borrower to the loan terms? The answer is C, to standardize loan application information and ensure accurate data for underwriting. The URLA provides a standardized way to collect data needed for underwriting, ensuring accuracy and consistency in the loan application process. In the loan application process, what is the significance of the debt-to-income DTI ratio? Is it A, it assesses the borrower's net worth, B, it helps determine the maximum loan amount a borrower can qualify for, C, it evaluates the borrower's credit history, or D, it calculates the total assets available to the borrower? The answer is B, it helps determine the maximum loan amount a borrower can qualify for. The DTI ratio is a critical factor used by lenders to determine the amount of loan a borrower can afford based on their income and existing debt obligations. What information is typically required from a borrower during the initial loan application process? Is it A, personal data, employment history, and income details? B, the borrower's preferred interest rate? C, the appraised value of the property? Or D, a complete list of the borrower's future financial goals? The answer is A, personal data, employment history, and income details. Personal data, employment history, and income details are crucial for lenders to begin assessing a borrower's eligibility for a loan. Which section of the Uniform Residential Loan Application (URLA) asks for details about the borrower's assets and liabilities? Is it A, Section 1, Borrower Information? B, Section 2, Financial Information, Assets and Liabilities? C, Section 4, Loan and Property Information? Or D, Section 5, Declarations? The answer is B, Section 2, Financial Information, Assets and Liabilities. Section 2 of the URLA covers comprehensive details about the borrower's assets and liabilities, which are essential for determining financial stability and loan eligibility. Why is credit history an important factor in the loan application process? Is it A, it determines the exact loan amount the borrower will receive? B, it helps lenders assess the risk of lending to the borrower? C, it informs the borrower about potential investment opportunities? Or D, it calculates the borrower's annual income? The answer is B, it helps lenders assess the risk of lending to the borrower. Lenders use credit history to gauge the risk of lending to the borrower. A strong credit history suggests reliable behavior in managing debts and making timely payments. What is the primary purpose of the loan estimate in the loan application process? Is it A, to provide the borrower with an overview of their credit history? B, to give the borrower a detailed breakdown of home inspection results? C, to inform the borrower of the loan terms, estimated costs, and closing fees? Or D, to finalize the loan approval? The answer is C, to inform the borrower of the loan terms, estimated costs, and closing fees. The loan estimate, provided after the loan application, outlines the loan's terms, estimated costs, and fees, helping borrowers understand the financial commitment involved. Which document is used to verify a borrower's employment during the loan application process? Is it A, pay stubs? B, employment verification letter? C, tax returns? Or D, credit report? The answer is B, employment verification letter. An employment verification letter from the employer confirms a borrower's current employment status and income, which is critical for the loan approval process. Underwriting for New York real estate. What is a key factor that underwriters evaluate when assessing a borrower's creditworthiness for a New York real estate loan? Is it A, borrower's advertising strategy? B, borrower's credit history? C, property location? Or D, borrower's real estate knowledge? The answer is B, borrower's credit history. Underwriters assess a borrower's credit history as it provides a record of their past borrowing and repayment behavior, which is crucial in determining their reliability in repaying a loan. What does the loan-to-value LTV ratio represent in the context of underwriting New York real estate loans? Is it A, the ratio of the borrower's debts to their income? B, the ratio of the mortgage amount to the appraised property value? C, the ratio of the appraised property value to the mortgage amount? Or D, the ratio of the borrower's savings to their annual income? The answer is B, the ratio of the mortgage amount to the appraised property value. The loan-to-value LTV ratio is the mortgage amount divided by the appraised property value. It helps underwriters assess the risk of the loan. A lower LTV indicates a lower risk. What is a common acceptable debt-to-income DTI ratio for mortgage loan approval in New York? Is it A, 30%, B, 36%, C, 40%, or D, 50%? The answer is B, 36%. A common acceptable debt-to-income ratio for conventional mortgage loan approval is typically around 36%, helping lenders ensure borrowers can manage monthly payments along with other debts. In the underwriting process, why is the appraisal of the property crucial for New York real estate transactions? Is it A, to determine the borrowing entity's legal status, B, to estimate the borrower's annual income, C, to ensure the property value supports the loan amount, or D, to approve the borrower's credit score? The answer is C, to ensure the property value supports the loan amount. A property appraisal is performed to ensure that the property's market value supports the loan amount, protecting lenders from overlending and borrowers from overpaying. Why is verifying the source of the borrower's down payment important in New York real estate underwriting? Is it A, to comply with anti-money laundering regulations, B, to test the borrower's real estate knowledge, C, to assess the borrower's marketing skills, or D, to evaluate the property location? The answer is A, to comply with anti-money laundering regulations. Verifying the source of down payments is critical to ensure funds are legitimate and comply with anti-money laundering regulations, protecting both lenders and the lending process. What is a key consideration for underwriters when evaluating the resale value of a property in New York? Is it A, market comparables, B, borrower's employment history, C, property tax history, or D, borrower's credit score? The answer is A, market comparables. Underwriters assess market comparables to determine the fair market value of a property, which is crucial for estimating its resale value in New York. Why is verifying the borrower's employment important during the underwriting process in New York? Is it A, to gauge the borrower's ability to repay the loan, B, to determine the property's market value, C, to establish property insurance premiums, or D, to finalize the property title search? The answer is A, to gauge the borrower's ability to repay the loan. Employment verification ensures that the borrower has a stable income, which is critical in assessing their ability to repay the mortgage loan. Loan closing. What document primarily outlines the terms and conditions of a real estate loan at a closing in New York? Is it A, deed, B, mortgage, C, title insurance, or D, appraisal report? The answer is B, mortgage. The mortgage document primarily outlines the terms and conditions of a real estate loan, such as interest rate, repayment schedule, and default terms. What is the primary purpose of a closing disclosure form in New York real estate transactions? Is it A, to provide a summary of the buyer's financial status, B, to give an itemized list of all costs and fees, C, to confirm the transfer of property ownership, or D, to appraise the property's market value? The answer is B, to give an itemized list of all costs and fees. The closing disclosure form provides a detailed itemization of all costs and fees associated with the loan, ensuring the borrower understands all charges before closing. Who is responsible for recording the deed after a real estate closing in New York? Is it A, lender, B, title company, C, real estate agent, or D, buyer? The answer is B, title company. In New York, the deed is typically recorded by the title company or the closing attorney with the appropriate county recording office, ensuring legal property ownership transfer. What is the significance of the Truth in Lending Act, TILA, in loan closing procedures in New York? Is it A, ensures accurate property appraisal, B, mandates disclosure of loan terms and costs, C, regulates real estate agent practices, or D, standardizes property insurance requirements? The answer is B, mandates disclosure of loan terms and costs. The Truth in Lending Act, TILA, mandates lenders to clearly disclose key terms and costs associated with the loan, helping consumers compare and understand loan offers. Which party typically holds the escrow funds during a real estate transaction in New York? Is it A, buyer, B, seller, C, escrow agent, or D, real estate agent? The answer is C, escrow agent. In New York real estate transactions, the escrow agent, often a title company or attorney, holds and manages the funds until the terms of the transaction are fulfilled. Which document outlines the fees and costs associated with a real estate transaction during the closing in New York? Is it A, loan estimate, B, purchase agreement, C, closing disclosure, or D, title report? The answer is C, closing disclosure. The closing disclosure provides the final details about the mortgage loan, including the loan terms, projected monthly payments, and closing costs. Who must sign the mortgage document at the loan closing in New York? Is it A, the lender, B, the buyer, C, the seller, or D, the title company representative? The answer is B, the buyer. In New York loan closings, the buyer signs the mortgage document to acknowledge the debt and agree to the loan's terms. New York mortgage disclosure requirements. What is the purpose of the New York mortgage disclosure statement? Is it A, to provide an estimate of the property's value, B, to fully disclose the terms and details of a mortgage loan, C, to collect personal information from the borrower, or D, to verify the employment history of the borrower? The answer is B, to fully disclose the terms and details of a mortgage loan. The New York Mortgage Disclosure Statement is aimed at fully informing borrowers about all the terms and details related to their mortgage loan to ensure transparency. Within how many business days must the lender provide the loan estimate after receiving a mortgage application? Is it A, 1 business day, B, 3 business days, C, 5 business days, or D, 7 business days? The answer is B, 3 business days. New York mortgage disclosure requirements mandate that the loan estimate must be provided within 3 business days after a lender receives a completed mortgage application. Which document is required to be given to a borrower 3 business days before closing on a mortgage in New York? Is it A, the loan estimate, B, the closing disclosure, C, the initial disclosure statement, or D, the settlement cost booklet? The answer is B, the closing disclosure. New York law requires that the closing disclosure is given to borrowers at least 3 business days before the consummation of the mortgage to ensure they have enough time to review all loan details. Which organization is primarily responsible for enforcing mortgage disclosure requirements in New York? Is it A, New York State Department of Financial Services, B, New York Stock Exchange, C, New York City Department of Housing Preservation and Development, or D, Federal Bureau of Investigation? The answer is A, New York State Department of Financial Services. The New York State Department of Financial Services, DFS, is tasked with ensuring compliance with state mortgage disclosure laws, aiming to protect consumers and maintain transparent lending practices. What penalty could a lender face for not providing required mortgage disclosures according to New York regulations? Is it A, a warning letter, B, fines and possible license revocation, C, mandatory customer refunds, or D, requirement to refile loan applications? The answer is B, fines and possible license revocation. Non-compliance with New York mortgage disclosure laws can lead to significant penalties, including substantial fines and even the revocation of the lender's operating license. What is required to be provided to borrowers within 3 business days of receiving a mortgage loan application, according to New York regulations? Is it A, a copy of the borrower's credit report, B, the New York mortgage disclosure statement, C, the final loan approval decision, or D, a complete list of all closing costs? The answer is B, the New York mortgage disclosure statement. New York regulations mandate that lenders provide the New York mortgage disclosure statement to borrowers within 3 business days of receiving a mortgage loan application. This document outlines the terms and costs associated with the loan. Under New York regulations, what information must the New York mortgage disclosure statement include? Is it A, the borrower's personal credit history, B, the loan's interest rate and associated costs, C, the property's maintenance history, or D, the terms of the purchase agreement? The answer is B, the loan's interest rate and associated costs. The New York mortgage disclosure statement must include important details about the loan's interest rate, associated costs, and fees. This helps borrowers to understand and compare different loan offers.
Thanks for joining us today. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to our channel for more practice exams, tips, and tricks. And don't forget to visit birdsey.ai for complimentary study sessions with Birdsey, your AI-powered study partner.